Hello and welcome to MIMTV. My name is Jason Pitt. Today I'm joined by Dave Atkinson, who's head of the UK manufacturing department of Lloyds Bank.
Hi Jason, thanks for introducing us along today.
Yeah, thanks for coming along. And we've got something quite exciting to talk about today because on the 1st of March, you launched the Automotive Report, which I've got here, which we're going to send out to members. And I think the headline grabber would be this 85,000 new jobs before 2019. So I wonder if you want to tell me a bit more about the report, what the purpose of it was, and what were some of the key findings.
Yeah, sure. So this is the third automotive report that we've done for Lloyds, looking at the automotive sector. It's a really insightful piece of work, quite a big piece of work done after the dust had settled, after the Britain's electorate's decision to leave the EU was done. So this is quite reflective of how people are feeling around sort of 4, 5, 6 months after the vote in June last year. So we've interviewed OEMs and Tier 1, Tier 2 and Tier 3 companies across England and Wales to get a real good insight and feeling for the landscape of the automotive sector, both in terms of how they're feeling, in terms of how things have gone, but also what are they planning for the future and what are the headwinds and opportunities that they see in the future as well.
Fantastic. And probably one of the biggest concerns in automotive, particularly you've got people like Nissan, you've got a lot of international companies in Britain. I'm right in thinking, watching your video, you were on Bloomberg recently, by the way, so I feel quite honoured to have Dave here. The EU is the UK's biggest market, so there's naturally going to be concerns about how is that going to affect us and what should companies watch out for?
Yeah, I think it's come out of the report as well. Around 1 in 3 companies said that the decision to leave the EU is the biggest threat to the industry. So I think there's a cautious sort of confidence, albeit the industry continues to be incredibly resilient as well as innovative as it's become renowned for in the UK. So I think it's worth, Jason, just bringing alive just how big the automotive industry is in the UK, and then touching on the size of the reliance on the EU market, and then what that might mean for us in the future. So as a sector, it manufactured around 1.7 million cars last year, and January this year has started off another record year, around 8% up on January last year. So I think that's a good indication of the benefits of all the new models that our renowned manufacturers are introducing. It's a big employer, so employs around 169,000 people direct in the UK. And around 800,000 people in the wider sort of automotive industry and the supply chain, so incredibly important. And then in terms of the EU, we said earlier it manufactures around 1.7 million cars. Around 1.3 million of those are actually exported to 160 countries around the world, of which around 60% of those actually go to the European market. So the EU is an incredibly important part of the automotive industry. Thus, the impact of the decision to leave being felt in this industry in particular.
Yeah. Another key finding with the report is that companies are looking to increase their R&D spending. So as members may know, we have an R&D expert who's claimed back more than £4 million for members, which is fantastic. It's something which all companies should look to do. So why the jump in R&D spending? Because that suggests that people are very confident.
Yeah, the industry has always been really, really innovative and invested heavily in new product and new sort of research and new technology. And I think one of the drivers that we've seen for the increase to around 24% of turnover over the next couple of years being invested in R&D has probably come from the lack of confidence or the declining confidence following the diesel emissions scandal last year. So I think that's going to accelerate the drive for low carbon and electric vehicles. We saw the Chancellor make an announcement in the autumn statement giving £390 million to the industry. So I think it's great that government have recognised the importance of this industry and the supply chains to the UK economy. And part of that spending was around the development of autonomous vehicles and also more electric sort of charging points. So I think to accelerate the drive into that part of the future is really, really important. I think there's a great opportunity for the industry to become global leaders in this particular part of the industry as well. And of course, let's not lose sight of the sort of the benefits of low carbon and low emission vehicles in terms of the green credentials that we're all striving to achieve.
Definitely. So touching on technology, in the report, I've got the figures here. I think it's something like 57% of companies are developing driverless technology, low carbon vehicles. So how great is it to see that innovation?
Well, I think it's quite exciting actually, and I think the motor industry that we see today will be nothing that we'll see in the next sort of 10 years. And I think the development of technology is such that the disruptors coming into the market will accelerate that development even further and even faster. Companies like Google, Uber, and Apple, all looking to become players in this market. I think it will just, it'll make for really exciting times. But I think the UK automotive industry in particular is really well positioned. World-class universities, world-class research and development capabilities, and let's face it, the world-class supply chain, supports the big OEMs, the big automotive assemblers. And none more so than here in the Midlands. You've got some fantastic businesses that do just this as part of your membership, notwithstanding, those that aren't currently members here in the Midlands.
So just touching on this 85,000 new jobs, and I think you explained how that was calculated. So this survey was outsourced to a research company, and based on the feedback that there was given and the calculation that you provided, 85,000 new jobs were predicted in the next 2 years. You yourself are actually involved in some job creation, because you have got a partnership with the Manufacturing Training Centre. Do you want to tell me a bit about that and how you see that fitting into the future of all of this?
Again, understanding the importance of new skills in the manufacturing sort of sector through our dedicated sort of team and dedicated proposition to support the sector. We wanted to do something that symbolised our intent to really get behind the industry above and beyond what we do in normal banking terms. So we committed a £5 million sponsorship over 5 years, £1 million a year for 5 years, at the Lloyds Bank Advanced Manufacturing Training Centre at Coventry, and that is now starting to bring out into industry. Before 2020, around 1,000 new apprentices, engineers and graduates into the manufacturing sector, and the first 36 of those went out in September last year, and the majority of them in and around the Midlands and into SMEs as well. Yeah,
that's phenomenal. And you also practice what you preach. So like us, you went on the Warwick Manufacturing Group training course, you put all your guys through. So the Lloyds team really understand manufacturing in a way which is quite unusual, and I think you to be praised for that.
Thank you.
So thanks very much for coming in, Dave, and I look forward to seeing you on another edition of MIMTV.
Yeah, thank you.